All right, Anita Garza. Anita Garza. All right, John Young, who do you have?
I have Amethyst Garcia. It's family violence. I've talked to Michael, and I need to be put in a breakout room with her.
All right. It's not quite 2 o'clock, and I don't see Miss Amethyst Garcia on the Zoom. So just give us a moment.
Thank you, Your Honor.
As soon as she pops up, we will take you to that breakout room. And Ernest Acevedo, you have?
Brandon Wright, Judge, on that motion to withdraw from yesterday. I'm ready on that. That's been filed. It's been sent to Michael. I've discussed it with my client, and we're ready to argue that with you whenever you have a moment.
All right, thank you.
Worry about it then. Sorry.
All right, to the clerks, I only have one case with me on Brandon Marshall White. Is that guy Brandon Marshall White or Brandon Michael Wright?
I don't remember his middle name off the top of my head, Judge.
All right, because I have two here. All right, Mr. Wright, can you unmute?
Yes, ma'am. It's
Are you-
Brandon Michael Wright.
Michael Wright, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
The doctor was trying to get her to walk a little bit, and she noticed she.
And just give us 1 moment, 2 minutes, Mr. Acevedo. Okay. Mr. Cabanas, thank you so much.
Hi, Judge. No problem.
Okay, we're just waiting for your guy to appear in his box. I don't have the file. All right, thank you. All right, so before we go on the record, Mr. Brandon Michael Wright, you're aware that your attorney wishes to withdraw?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, and Mr. Acevedo, were you appointed or retained?
I was appointed on this case, Judge.
All right, we're going to go on the record briefly. Court is calling 2021 CR 6591, State of Texas versus Brandon Michael Wright. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Ernest Acevedo III for Mr. Wright.
And are you Mr. Wright?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
None from the state, Your Honor.
Any objections from the defense?
None from the defense.
All right, the court is in receipt of a motion to withdraw from the defense counsel. State, have you had a chance to review that motion?
I have, Your Honor.
All right, any objections to the motion to withdraw?
No, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Wright, your attorney has filed a motion to withdraw. Have you had a chance to review that?
I have not looked over the motion, but I have a very good understanding of his reasoning.
All right, do you have any objections to Mr. Acevedo withdrawing?
I do not have objections to him withdrawing.
All right, then if there's no further argument, that will be granted. All right, no problem. All right, and Mr. Acevedo, you were appointed, is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Mr. Wright, will you need appointed counsel, or are you going to hire an attorney?
Unfortunately, I can't afford my own attorney. I was hoping, I'll let Mr. Acevedo speak, but I was hoping for a particular situation.
Judge, just one thing that I'd ask, I felt bad that I didn't have the time to devote to this case. I had conferred with Charles Bunk on the case. He was willing to take it. He's qualified for it. And since I'm kind of leaving him hanging, I wanted to at least let you know that he was willing to accept the case if the court was so inclined to let him continue his representation. He is capital qualified and qualified for this level offense.
The court is not allowed to do that. It would be whomever came up on the will next, Mr. Wright. Your motion to withdraw is granted.
Yes. Well, it doesn't.
All right, why does that always happen? We're in a hearing. Stop approaching, speaking while we're in a hearing. So, Mr. Wright, what will end up happening is the court coordinator will put your name in the system for a court-appointed attorney, and it will select someone who's qualified to handle this type of case.
Okay.
And then that will be your attorney. Ms. Ferguson, if you could look to see who would be next on the wheel to represent Mr. Wright, and Mr. Acevedo, if you would remain, I'm going to see if whomever that attorney is able to zoom in so they could just meet Mr. Wright with you.
Yes, ma'am.
And then we will get a 30-day reset on this case. So just give us a moment while we get that done. I know. No problem. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on Mr. Brandon White. I also need new attorney appointed, one who's qualified for first-degree felonies. So, Mr. Wright, your new court date is going to be May 23rd.
Okay.
And Ms. Ferguson is going to check to see who's up on the list. And then we will get an attorney appointed for you, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, thank you. So just give us a moment on that. And Mr. Cabanas?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Marin appears to be here. And who is the prosecutor on Marin?
It was Ryan Groomer, Judge.
All right, Mr. Groomer, are you ready on Mr. Marin?
Yes, Judge, I'm ready.
All right, Brenda, it's going to be 2 cases for Mr. Marin.
Okay.
Just 1 second. All right, Mr. Acevedo and Mr. Wright. Who knew this would happen? The person who's listed on the list for appointments for your case is John Charles Blanc.
Wow.
So that's who it will be. So can you call Kelly or Mr. Blanc and see if they can zoom in? Okay, all right, Miss Kelly McGinnis is going to zoom in just so that she can make sure she has your information. And Mr. Acevedo and Mr. Wright, I'm going to put you both in breakout room number 2. If you'll wait there when Miss McGinnis zooms in, that way she can get the information she needs.
May we be excused after we talk with her, Judge?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
You're
Your
welcome.
Honor.
You're welcome. All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 9479B and 2021 CR 9480B, State of Texas versus Marcus Anthony Marin. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Alfonso Cabañas for the defendant, Marcus Marin.
All right, and are you Marcus Marin?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, we're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objections from the state or the defense?
None from the state.
No objection from defense counsel.
Mr. Marin, in each of these cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand them? Did you electronically sign them in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I did receive it, Judge, and I did review it with my client.
In each of the cause numbers, the court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Marin, in each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We're reading of the indictment, Judge.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented in each cause number?
We are, Judge.
Mr. Marin, in each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishments and defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
And each of the cause numbers, do you understand you're charged with aggravated robbery? Those are first-degree felonies, the range of punishments for those cause numbers. I'm sorry, just one moment. Sorry about that. The range of punishment in each of those cases for those offenses is anywhere from 5 to 99 years of life in prison. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand in each of the cause numbers, you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers, you are giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights in each of these cause numbers and enter into a plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, in each of the cause numbers, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor, he did.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor, I do.
Mr. Marin, has anyone threatened you, forced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter into these pleas?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter these pleas?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. In each of the cause numbers, I'm showing you the plea bargain agreement. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
In each of the cause numbers, your punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of deadly weapon. There are no applications. Each of the cause numbers will run concurrent. The state will take in consideration 2021 CR 9761A. There's to be no contact with Mario Hernandez Mebratham, Mebrahtom, Nagesh, Negash, and Lisa Dahl, Dhal. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement in each of the cause numbers?
It is, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it? In both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, are there any such motions?
No motions from defense counsel, Judge.
Then in each of the cause numbers, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State, in each of the cause numbers, do you have any evidence to support the defendant's no contest plea?
We do, Judge. We would offer State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments on both cause numbers.
Any objections?
No objection to states one and attachments, Your Honor.
Showing you in each of the cause numbers what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review those documents with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there'll be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations in the cause number. And the court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty in each cause number, and each cause numbers the court will find you guilty. Are we proceeding with sentencing?
I'm sorry, Judge, I didn't hear you.
All right, in each of the cause numbers, the court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor, we are.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Other than my client is extremely sorry and apologetic for the offenses, Judge, and the defense counsel asked the court to follow the plea agreement.
All right, in cause number 2021 CR 9480AB, the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 9479B. Taking consideration 2021 CR 9761A. Give you credit for any time served.
I have a question, Judge.
Just one moment. And cause number 2021 CR 9479B. As previously stated, the court is finding you guilty. Court is sentencing you to 5 years in the prison. There's an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. This will run concurrent with 2021 CR 9480B, County Court Cause number 648342. Taking consideration 2021 CR 9761A. There's to be no contact with Mario Hernandez, Mabratham Nagesh, and Lisa Dahl. Is there anything else from either side with regards to sentencing?
Nothing from the state.
Nothing from the fence, Your Honor.
Mr. Marin, in each of these cause numbers, I'm showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement in each of these cause numbers, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And because these are felony convictions, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Marin, there, you had a question for the court?
Yes, ma'am. I just wanted to say, the back time that I have here, would that be running with the time that I'm served?
I'm sorry, I don't know what did you say?
So at the time that I have here, I'd have been incarcerated here, would that run with the time that I'm being served with?
If you, any time that you have served on these cases, you will receive credit for that. So when you are arrested for this offense, if you were in custody, you'll receive credit for that time.
So, okay, but I was gonna say I have like 9 months. So would that be run with the time?
If you were charged with these offenses and in custody, you'll receive credit for it. Okay. And also, Mr. Marin, if you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you need to speak to your attorney. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So now that you have a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, we can go off the record. How old are you?
27, gonna be 28 next week.
All right, you got to change your life. Otherwise, it's not going to go well for you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I understand.
All right, good luck to you.
Thank you. Would I be able to talk to my attorney before I leave?
Yes, Mr. Cabanas, just make sure he comes out of the breakout room.
Yes, Your Honor.
I'm going to send you all to breakout room number 6. Let me see if I can find him on the Zoom screen. All right, are the parties on Lujan here?
I'm present, Judge.
I'm here too, ma'am.
All right, who is speaking saying I'm present? What attorney is that?
Ruben Flores, Judge.
All right, thank you.
To give Charles his space.
And who's the prosecutor on Lujan?
It was Brittany, Judge.
Okay. Is there a prosecutor available?
Judge, who?
All right,
I'm here, Your Honor. Who are you looking for, Judge?
a prosecutor.
Oh.
Meredith Chacon, who do you have?
Your Honor, I have 2. I have Beverly Zuniga, who I need to see in the breakout room to go over paperwork. And then I needed to talk with Ryan again on Mr. Moreno, Christopher Letty Moreno. There was a little hang up on our deal.
Okay, so I will send you to breakout room number 7.
Okay.
All right, and is there a prosecutor available to take the plea on Christopher Lujan?
Judge, I'm here. If you walk me through it, I can do it.
Thank you. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2248, State of Texas versus Christopher Lujan. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Ruben Flores for Mr. Lujan.
And are you Christopher Lujan?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state of the defense?
None from the state, Your Honor.
None from the defense, Judge.
Mr. Lujan, I'm showing you a document entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you
Yes.
electronically sign it?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Lujan, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, it appears that you're proceeding on the indictment as presented. Is that correct?
That's correct, Your Honor.
Mr. Lujan, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Did you understand what you're charged with is possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 less than 1 gram? That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I do, Your Honor.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Lujan, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Mr. Lujan, I'm showing you what's entitled plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at 6 months in the state jail facility. There's a $1,000 fine. State will take in consideration 2022 CR 2247 and NITMAC number 641992. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
It is, Your Honor.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you a paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No motions, Judge.
Then to the offense as charged in the indictment, Mr. Lujan, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest, ma'am.
State, any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, State offers State's Exhibit number 1 and attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Judge.
Mr. Lujan, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement that the state will only be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same.
Yes, ma'am.
Marcus, Marin, come out here. Adanya.
Yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
16.
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
No, Judge, we simply ask that you follow the plea bargain, Judge.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 6 months in the state jail facility, give you credit for any time served. There's a $1,000 fine, time and money will run concurrent. Take in consideration 2022 ER 2247 and NIMAC number 641992. Next, Mr. Lujan, I'm going to show you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did, ma'am.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement and because you waived your right to appeal, you don't have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
And also because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Lujan. We can go off the record. Mr. Lujan,
Yes, ma'am.
if you continue on the way you're going, you're going to end up finding yourself in and out of prisons and in and out of jails. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do, Your Honor.
All right, good luck to you, Mr. Lujan.
Thank you. Thank you very much, ma'am. Y'all have a good day. Thank you.
All
God
right, you
bless.
too. Thank you. God bless you too.
And
Yes,
as a clarification, Judge, he is getting credit for time served.
he's receiving credit for any time that he served.
Thank you. Thank you, and God bless you. God bless.
Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, 14R can go back. Jonathan Ross.
Yes, Your Honor. I could confer with the state. That'd be fantastic, Your Honor.
All right, I'll send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you.
Okay, Joanne Eckel. The immigration attorney should be zooming in right now. And Ms. Ferguson, did you, I'm putting something in the chat for you. All right, Suzanne Kramer.
Yes, Judge. My client is not in the breakout room yet, but that's fine. I just wanted the share screen to be enabled, please. And breakout room number 2.
Share screen is on.
It's not, it's showing disabled for me.
Okay, there may be an issue with it at the jail, but on this end, I'm allowing for people to share screen. So there may be an issue.
Yeah, it's not allowing me to share the paperwork with them. So, okay.
But he's in breakout room number 2.
Right, that's where I was sent. He's just not in the chair yet, but that's okay. They probably just haven't gotten there yet.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Pat Hancock.
Judge, good afternoon. I was hoping to confer with Mr. Groomer on Jesus Mendoza, who's in custody.
Okay.
I
Mr.
can meet Pat
Hancock.
in a breakout room.
All right, thank you. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 5.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. John Young.
Yes, ma'am. I was in breakout room before lunch and I did not see Miss Garcia, Amethyst Garcia, leave. I cannot reach her. She's not on the Zoom and the phone number she called me on this morning doesn't get answered. So I'm sort of at a loss right now.
All right, just give us 1 moment. Jay Norton, have you had a chance to confer?
Yes, ma'am. May we approach?
Yes.
So I don't know if Stephanie is, I'm Brittany, excuse me. We were set for a MTR today. We sent the paperwork to Norma. Apparently, probably as we speak, our client is having surgery at University Hospital. I sent all the documentation. He was checked in yesterday, apparently. Norma has Norma has what we have.
All
But
right.
it's pretty direct. It's on there.
I'll print it right now, Judge.
Let me see if I have it. So just give us a moment.
Okay.
When you get there, you just go up and y'all
Ask the concierge,
Yeah.
what should we be doing?
What should you do? And let him pick something out, make it
Yeah.
him pick it out.
Yeah.
He has to.
Who?
Zane.
Oh, I said the concierge.
Well, Zane could pick what he wants to do
Okay.
from what they.
All right, Mr. Norton, Ms. Ferguson has given me the post-operative instructions.
I thought you did. No. But I thought you had said that you had left it.
Judge, did you get the notice of admission as well?
Yes.
Okay, good.
Just give me one moment. And Miss Eckel, I'm sending you to breakout room number 1, and the immigration attorney is here as well. Mr. Garcia, if you'll go to 1. And Mr. Rivera, if you'll go to 1, please, with the immigration attorney. So, Mr. Norton, how's your client going to be keeping up with probation? Because he's still going to have to check in with probation.
Judge, I haven't been able to talk to him today, so I know as much as you do at this point, other than it happened yesterday, it ruptured yesterday.
Okay. All right. What I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a 30-day reset. But when your client is released, he needs to get in touch with probation
Okay.
so that probation can know what's going on.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, could I have a 30-day reset on Mr. Adam Carroll? All right, May 23rd.
May 23rd. Judge, may I check that real quick?
Yes.
I think that's okay, Judge, at least as of right now.
All right, Ms. Reyes, Mr. Carroll is in the hospital. The court has the documentation, but he's to notify probation when he's released.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. And so we'll come back on May 23rd.
Thanks, Judge.
Your excuse. Thank you.
Bye, everyone.
Michael Bellevue,
Yes, Judge.
Mr. Harris,
All right, just waiting on paperwork from Brittany. She has my email address. She's working on it right now.
all right, and Jonathan Ross on Trevino.
Yes, Your Honor. We conferred with the state. It looks like we might be getting closer to a resolution on this. I'll need a little bit more time to discuss it with my client, but it looks like we're making progress on that, Your Honor.
All right, so has an offer been tendered?
Yes, ma'am.
And where is Mr. Trevino?
I believe he's on here, Your Honor.
Trevino?
Yes, ma'am.
Just one moment. Mr. Trevino?
Yes, ma'am.
Ah, there you are. All right, Mr. Trevino, we're going to come back on your case in 2 weeks. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 2-week reset on Matthew Trevino, please? All right, we're going to come back on May 3rd.
All right, Your Honor. Thank you very much.
All
Alrighty,
right,
have a
thank
good
you.
weekend.
Thank you, you too. Brenda, do you see Mr. Trevino on the docket, what page he's on?
Page 8, Judge.
Thank you.
Judge, may I approach?
Yes, just give me one moment, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Mr. Sherman.
Judge, you should have an agreed order on your desk. It was signed by Brittany Sparks today. It's a blood draw order, and we've already got a trial setting on that case.
Okay.
I just need to get a certified copy of that today.
Thank you. The court has signed it.
Can I have the clerk come pick it up for me, and then I'll take it?
Yes.
Thank you.
To the clerks, if you could give that document to Mr. Sherman, please. And these can go back. All right, is there anyone else who's ready?
Judge, it's Carl Alexander. I joined just recently here. Meredith has Beverly Zuniga on your docket. She got called away for an emergency in Esperanza Court. So she asked if I could come in and go over the paperwork with Ms. Zuniga, which Meredith's already signed it. It just needs to be gone over with Ms. Zuniga.
All right, Ms. Zuniga, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3. And Mr. Alexander, I'll send you to breakout room number 3.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
This is Ed Garza. Is my client in the courtroom?
Let me see. Who is your client?
Demetric Jackson. You told him to come in person.
All right. Is there a Demetric Jackson? No, he's not.
Your
He's
Honor,
not
I
here.
believe Maura is ready.
All right. As soon as the court receives the paperwork, we'll take that matter up.
Judge, this is all done.
Just a minute, everyone. All right, Mr. Garza. I'm sorry, Mr. Huerta.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Judge, I have an MTR on the Ricardo Martinez. It's an agreed judgment. It's an agreement, 2020 CR 5069.
What is the defendant's name, please?
Ricardo Martinez, Ricardo Rocky Martinez Jr.
All right, is he in the courtroom?
Yes.
Okay. Let's have him brought up.
Right next to attorney, sir.
Who is the attorney who you worked with on this?
Judge, it's Brittany. I'm here.
All right, thank you. Court is calling 2020 CR 5069, State of Texas versus Ricardo Rocky Martinez. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brittany Sparks.
For the defense?
Romaldo Horta representing Mr. Martinez, Your Honor.
Are you Mr. Martinez?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martinez, I'm going to show you a document entitled Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision and First Amendment Motion to Enter Adjudication of Guilt and Revoke Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you the same Ricardo Rocky Martinez Jr. who's placed on deferred adjudication in 2020 CR 5069 for the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, less than 1 gram on February 22nd, 2021 for a period of 5 years? Is that you?
Yes, ma'am.
State?
Yes, Your Honor. We're reading from the amended motion to revoke or adjudicate, sorry. Violated condition number 1, on or about the 8th day of March 2022 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Ricardo Rocky Martinez Jr. committed the offense of fraud, destroy, remove, conceal, PR tag in violation of condition number 1.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State?
Oh, sorry, Judge. And violated condition number 2, on or about the 2nd day of July 2021 in Bexar County, Texas, the defendant Ricardo Rocky Martinez Jr. illegally used a controlled substance namely methamphetamines in violation of condition number 2.
How do you plead to that? True or not true?
True.
State?
We'll waive all other violations.
Any objections to the waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, did you understand by pleading true to violations 1 and 2, the court could find it true, grant the motion, find you guilty, and sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Knowing that, do you still wish to plead true to violations 1 and 2?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find 1 and 2 true. Is there an agreement?
Yes, Your Honor, there is. We're asking that you deny the motion and alter and amend his conditions to include intensive outpatient and the drug patch for 60 days. And with his plea to true, we're going to take into consideration county court cause number 680610.
Is that the agreement, defense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Martinez, are you asking the court to follow that agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you waiving your right to appeal?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Martinez, if you're drug tested today, what are the results going to be?
Negative.
When's the last time you used drugs?
Before.
All right, here's the thing, Mr. Martinez. Let me explain something to you, what is happening right now. What is happening right now is that the state has decided not to request of the court to revoke you and sentence you to the state jail facility for 2 years. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So you're not off to a good start being on probation. You picked up a new offense, and obviously there's something going on with you using drugs because you pled true to a violation of condition number 2. So I'm trying to figure out what is wrong with you, why you can't successfully complete this probation and be done with it. And 2, if there's anything to help you, because you're going to be drug tested today. So if it's going to be positive today, it's better for you to let me know today, as opposed to me sending you out for a drug test. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. No, I was just trying to think like when I got arrested.
No, let's start now. Are you going to be positive today? Yes or no?
Yes.
And what will you be positive for?
Just same thing.
All right, when's the last time you used?
Like 2 days ago, 3 days ago,
I'm sorry?
like 3 days ago,
And what are you using?
same thing.
What is the same thing?
Oh, the methamphetamine.
All right, so why are you using drugs? What is going on in your life?
Just mainly because of the loss of family, that I don't have the support system no more,
Well, I mean, are they not supporting you because
because they've all passed away.
they're doing tough love? They're like, hey, we can't help you anymore.
No, it's because I've lost 3 family members that were my immediate family members already that passed away in the like last 3 years, 3 year span.
Well, did you love them?
Very much.
All right, so how are you honoring them by using drugs? This is not an honor to them by using drugs. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have any children?
No, ma'am.
So how do you spend your day?
Trying to work or trying to get something done that I know is positive and not.
Well, trying to work. Are you working?
I need to get the consent for the form to be able to do it while I was in GPS, but I don't know if I'm going to be on it anymore or what's going to happen. And if I'm not, then it'll be easier for me to go to work.
Okay, I don't even know what you're saying right now. You're doing a lot of run-on sentences. Are you working? Yes or no?
No, but
Why don't you have a job?
I do. It's just that I needed to show like proof of income, proof of employment, and I hadn't done it because my friend is out of state working right now.
All right, you need to get a real job. You understand? And I see here that I waive your community service hours if you obtain your GED or in some sort of trade school. You got to better yourself to be productive. Otherwise, what's going to end up happening, you're just going to be using drugs. Maybe you end up dying from an overdose. Maybe you're lucky, maybe you don't. Maybe you don't end up dying, but you become a vegetable. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Or I should say in a vegetative state. All right, this is what the court is going to do. The court is going to deny the motion, alternate demand conditions to intensive outpatient treatment. I'm going to want him drug tested. And we're going to do the UA hotline instead of the patch. So the UA hotline, you better answer. They will call you every day. And some days you'll have to go do a drug test. Some days you may not have to do a drug test. You will never know, but you need to answer that phone always. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, so we're going to do the UA hotline, and I'm going to want field visits, random, 2 times per month. Is there anything else from either side?
Judge, on the GPS monitor, since he's back on probation, can it be removed so he can work?
Mr. Martinez, once you prove yourself and you're doing well, I'll consider removing GPS, but for now, it's not going to be removed. You understand? So whether or not the GPS gets removed will be completely up to you. You will be allowed to work while you're on GPS, but whether or not it ends up getting removed, it's up to you. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to send you to a breakout room with probation. Probation will go over conditions with you. Breakout room number 4.
Thank you, Judge.
Judge, to clarify that, you wanted him to do a UA today?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, Mr. Young. We do not know where you
There we are. I do not know where she is, Your Honor. She was here this morning. I saw her on the Zoom when I came on. I went into a breakout room. I apologize for being late, but I was late. And so I wasn't here at the beginning of the docket. And I was still in the breakout room when she was released. So
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we recall Amethyst Garcia for Monday, please?
Thank you very much, Your Honor.
You're welcome. So she will be back here on Monday.
I live in hope.
All right, thank you. So that'll be the 18th.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And everyone, just give me a moment. And to the clerks, you should have some plea paperwork coming back on Roper.
That should be correct, Your Honor.
All right.
And Judge, she is in the courtroom.
Okay, just give me a moment. All right, Pat Hancock.
Judge, I did confer with Mr. Groomer. I can't tell if he's on right now. Brian, are you there?
I am, Judge. Judge, so on Mendoza, Judge, we've been working through some discovery stuff. I think we've gotten all of that under wraps now. I think I got Pat some digital evidence that we've been looking for a while. However, Judge, what I would ask is I was going to make him an offer, but I'm not prepared to do that today. I would ask for a short reset so I can bring the family in so I can make an offer to see if we can resolve this before we put it on the trial docket.
So is there any other discovery?
I don't believe so, Judge. I think we've gone through it. I believe maybe Mr. Hancock has to pick up this last piece of discovery from the fourth floor. But as far as I'm aware, there's no other discovery.
All right, is 30 days enough time for you to speak to whom you need to speak to?
It is, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset on Jesus Mendoza, please?
Judge, can I say one thing?
Yes.
The whatever week includes May 18th, I'm out that week, Judge. I turn a decade older and I'm going to see my kids. So just want to make sure it's not the week of May 18th.
All right. All right, Ms. Ferguson, can we put it on another date other than the week of May 18th?
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. All right, May 23rd.
Perfect. All right, thank you, Judge. Thank you, Norma. Thank you, everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Ms. Ferguson, Mr. Mendoza, 14Q can go back. Martin Guerra.
Afternoon, Your Honor.
Afternoon.
I conferred earlier this morning with Ryan, but before I request a trial day, I want to speak to him one last time.
All right, Martin Guerra, I'll send you to breakout room number 5.
I'll meet him there, Judge.
Thank
you. Douglas Kapmeyer.
I'm not sure if my client's paperwork's been sworn to, Your Honor.
All right, just give me a moment then. Abelardo Garza.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
I've been waiting for my client to show up in the courtroom like you asked him to.
All right, we'll see if he comes. Megan Enriquez.
Yes, Judge, thank you. I was about to raise my hand. I have an agreement. We have an agreement with Michael Villarreal. I don't know if the court wants to do that plea today. Michael just texted me and said he had to run to mag duty, but is going to log on when he gets there. I don't know how long
Yes, let's do the plea today. He said it'll take him 30 minutes.
Okay, perfect. Well, we'll just hang tight and wait for paperwork.
All right, thank you so much. Thanks for your patience.
Absolutely, Judge. Thank you.
All right. Joseph Acevedo.
Yes, Your Honor.
Yes.
We had that bond matter that you wanted to visit with the complainant.
Okay. Yes, let me grab that file. And then Anita Garza, who do you have?
with Judge Boyd.
I have Donald Furnace, Your Honor,
No, that's okay.
and I wanted
That
to,
criminal trial division or family violence?
criminal trial division, Your Honor, I wanted to be put back in a breakout room with him, and I don't know what happened.
Who do you want to be in the breakout room with?
With my client, Mr. Furnace.
All right, Mr. Furnace, if you'll go to breakout room number 6, please.
Judge, can you hear me?
Who's speaking?
Don Furnace.
Don who? I have no idea who that is. All right, Joanne Garcia, Mr. Rivera, you've spoken to the immigration attorney?
Yes, Judge. Yeah, and we're gonna need a reset date so I can go over the plea with my client and the immigration lawyer can work his magic and do a letter.
All right. Did he give you an idea of what the time frame is for that?
Couple weeks, I think, Judge.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 3-week reset on Jaime Rivera, please? And Jackson is here in the courtroom. All right, we're gonna recall you for May 5th.
All right, thank you, Judge. May we be excused?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, who is waiting for Jackson in the courtroom? All right.
Abel.
Abel Lauder, your client is in the courtroom.
Can I speak to him in the breakout room, please?
Yes.
Judge, Ms. Roper's in the courtroom. If Mr. Villarreal is going to be about 30 minutes, can I get back on in about 20?
Yes,
All right, thank you.
you're welcome. Mr. Abel Lauder, if you'll go to breakout room number 1, please, your client is in there.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let me just find you on the Zoom screen. And to the clerks, could I have the motion on Mr. Rocha, please? And Mr. Acevedo, it's a motion for bond?
Yes, Your Honor. The state and I, subject to court approval, had agreed on a bond amount, but the court had indicated wanted to visit with the complainant first. And I think the state was getting her for you.
Okay, and who is the complainant?
Former employee / ex-girlfriend.
And what's her name?
Don't have that in front of me, Your Honor. I'm in another court, but
All right, just one
Michael has it.
I think it's Jessica Harding.
That sounds correct.
All right, as soon as she's on the, Mr. Acevedo, as soon as she's on the Zoom link, I'll take it up.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. Martin Guerra.
Your Honor, conferred with the state and my client as well, Mr. Adrian Arias, but we do not have an agreement. We're requesting a trial setting.
Okay, let me find your client.
You know, earlier his name did not show up. It was listed under 138338, I believe. I think you tried changing it earlier, but without success.
I'm right here.
All right, Mr. Arias, you're gonna need to figure out how to do that. I'm not gonna allow you back on the Zoom screen with your name not appearing. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. I checked it. Like I said, it said my name on there. I'll check it again though.
Yeah, no, it has your just a number on there. So Ms. Ferguson, can I have a trial date for Adrian Arias, please? All right, your jury trial date is May 24th. The court will not accept any plea bargain agreements in this cause without good cause. And you and your client are excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. And everyone, let me just check to see if I have more paperwork. And Teresa Conley, what are you here for?
Bond reduction for family violence.
All right.
I sent a lot of documentation to Michelle, but I don't see her on there. Is it just Mike?
It's going to be, you're going to have to send it to Michael Villarreal. Do you have his email address? Do you have Michael Villarreal's email address?
No, Your Honor, I don't.
All right, I'll put that in the chat box to you. That's who you're going to have to send it to.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome. Just give me a moment. Let me find his email address.
Judge, I'll send it to her. I have it right here. I'll chat it to Teresa.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, Ryan.
All right, Jeannie Bloomster.
Yes, Judge, I conferred with the state and the defendant they have not completed the DDRF for my off evaluation. And they need like, until that's scheduled for May 5th.
Okay, just give me one moment. And on this, is that what we've been waiting for?
Well, yes, Judge, you reset it like 3 weeks ago or something for them to do these both two different evaluations. Apparently they did one and not the other one while she's in custody.
So Judge, she had a mental health evaluation and they recommended the Tacoma evaluation, which determines the DDRF program. And that Tacoma evaluation is set for the May 5th date that Ms. Bloomster is talking about.
All right, so if she's going to remain on deferred adjudication, it's going to have to be extended.
Okay.
So, because she's on deferred, of course, the motion to revoke was filed timely, but she's going to have to be extended. Because she expires in November of 2022. And that's not going to give her enough time to do, if they decide to accept her.
Right.
I know she's going to have to be extended.
Okay. Well, she does want treatment, Judge, so I think that will be fine.
All right. So you said May 5th?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. So how much time past May 5th should we set this, Ms. Reyes?
I would think it would be ready towards the end of the following week.
Okay. Ms. Ferguson, on Ms. Bagley, can I get a reset date? May 12th, is that possible?
They came to do two evaluations or whatever the hell, two of those things, one for probation, one for the center. So what am I waiting for?
You're waiting for a different one.
So
we're gonna come back on May 12th.
No, you need to hurry up, okay? Because it's just, no, hurry up.
Excuse me, Ms. Bagley.
No,
You're
excuse
telling anyone
yourself,
to hurry up.
excuse
Let
yourself.
me
No,
help you. I'm gonna help you. All right, we'll be back on May 12th.
Thank you, Judge.
Your Honor, I have to announce to the court that at 3:30, I've got a highly contested CPS setting.
Yes,
So
who's your client and where are they?
we're on the Zoom, Mr. Maura, and I think that we just have to get our paperwork sworn to you, but it may be too late now.
No, has he done the paperwork? Because if he hasn't done the paperwork, then I don't have it. Mr. Maura, Mr. Maura, did you
Yes,
complete
ma'am, I'm right here.
paperwork? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am. The over electronically, yes, I did. Correct.
All right, I'm sending you to breakout room number 1. And you're gonna
Yes,
go
ma'am.
there with your attorney. And the
Okay.
clerk is gonna meet you there and they'll let you know if they have your paperwork. So go to breakout
Okay.
room
Yes,
number
ma'am.
1. And if the clerks
All
could
right.
go to number 1, please.
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Kapmeyer, I'm sending you to number 1. And Mr. Furness, your attorney, Ms. Garza, did you have a chance to speak with Mr. Furness?
Yes, I did, Your Honor. And yes, I also conferred with Ryan. I told Ryan that I needed to go over some of the discovery. This was our first offer. I'm understand the gravity. The offer is 16 years, so I need to.
Well, I don't need to know what the offer is.
Okay, I apologize, Your Honor.
I'm not supposed to know what the offer is. Those are confidential.
Okay.
Have you received all the discovery?
I need to verify whether or not. Let me see. We did not.
All right. Have you received all the discovery?
No, Your Honor. Well, I mean, I haven't. I believe it's. I haven't. I don't see it in here. I don't see it in my files.
All right. So you haven't received discovery yet?
No.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a reset for discovery. Mr. Groomer, do you know if discovery has been uploaded or not on?
I believe it has, Judge. I mean, I saw it on the Veripic thing, so I think it. I mean, as long as she's the attorney of record, which I think she is, it should be with her.
I should be able to. Right. I should be able to have it, but I don't know why I don't see it here.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 2-week reset for discovery on Mr. Furness, please? All right, we're coming back on May 3rd.
Okay, that's fine, Your Honor.
All right, Mr. Furness, we'll see you back on May 3rd. Thank you so much for your patience, Mr. Furness.
Thank you, Judge. Thank you.
On the recall page, Judge.
Thank you so much.
Sure. All right.
Just wait to chat if nobody looks at.
Ms. Kramer?
Yes, Judge. I finally was able to talk to Mr. Sanchez in the breakout room, and it requires me to talk to Mr. Groomer yet again.
All right.
Thank you.
I'll send you to breakout room number 4.
Thank you.
And yes, Mr. Furness, you're raising your hand?
Yes, ma'am. Am I excused?
Yes, you're excused, but let me let the coordinator call over because they don't like people walking around. Ms. Ferguson, can you let them know that 14J, Mr. Furness is done?
May I approach, Your Honor?
Yes.
Judge, I've talked to him a little. I'd like to get a reset so I can go over the offer and the evidence with him.
All right, so did you have a
person.
chance to speak with him?
Just briefly, Your Honor, yes.
Oh.
But I think I need to talk to him in person.
And your client's name is?
Demetric Jackson. It's our first setting.
You can go ahead and stand in the middle between those two behind that cord. That will be separated.
All right, Ms. Ferguson or Mr. Jackson, can I have a 30-day reset, please? All right, we'll see you back on May 17th. And Ms. Jackson, yes?
I apologize for the disrespect. That was my first time. This is my first time with the Zoom stuff, with the ironing and all that. No disrespect. I didn't mean to disrespect you.
All right, so I'll allow you to be back on Zoom, Mr. Jackson, but if that occurs again,
Yes, ma'am. It won't happen
your
again.
Zoom privileges are going to be revoked. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
May 30th, Judge? Is that what we said?
It's May 17th.
May 17th, okay.
Yes. So it's May 17th at 9 a.m., Mr. Jackson, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
I would be
All right.
excused, Your Honor.
Just wait in the courtroom, Mr. Jackson, for them to give you your reset form.
I'll be excused, Your Honor.
Yes.
You have a good Easter.
Thank you, you too.
It's gonna be a good one, I hope.
Oh, it's always great. You know, we're in charge of our own happiness.
That's right.
Thank you.
Judge, this is Bob Behrens. I haven't received any paperwork yet for Ms. Parks, but she's not in the meeting, so I haven't been able to send her any messages.
Bob,
All right.
I'm working on it. I almost have it done. This is Ryan. You'll have it
Oh,
from
okay.
me. At least it started in the next 2-3 minutes.
Okay, I've already done Norma's paperwork.
It's en route.
All right, everyone, just give me one moment, please. Suzanne Kramer, you have your hand raised?
Yes, Judge, I think I just went back to talk to my client. He wasn't there, but Norma just texted me. He went to the bathroom, so I'll run back into that breakout room, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Carl Alexander and Meredith Chacon.
I am so lucky to have such good partners. I just want you to know, Judge.
Oh, no, I know, they're awesome.
I'm just getting pulled in a bunch of directions today. So Carl went over the paperwork with my client, Miss Zuniga, and we're ready to proceed whenever you are, Judge. And he's going to stay on in case I get yanked out again at some point, because I have an emergency hearing in Alvarez's court in just a bit.
Okay. All right, as soon as the clerks bring me the paperwork, we will take that matter up. So I'm just waiting for them to give me the paperwork.
Thank you. And thank you for your patience today, Judge.
Oh, no problem. Thank you. Everyone, I'm just waiting for your paperwork. And Mr. Acevedo, I'm just waiting for the witness to zoom in.
Yes, sir.
And you also, Mr. Cohn, you have Christopher Marino.
Christopher Letty Marino. I had texted Ryan Groomer. We sort of had a deal, but I think I'm going to need some time to talk to him. If we could have a week, I'm going to schedule him for a Zoom visit so I can have some more detailed conversation, because it will be a deal. There's just been some back and forth today.
All right. Do you want to call it next week or in 2 weeks?
Why don't we do 2 weeks, Judge? That gives me time to put him on my jail Zooms next week, and then we'll be good.
Oh, your client seems to be experiencing some issues with that request.
I guess.
You want to speak with him?
Yes, I guess put me in with him and I'll talk to him. And that's fine.
And Judge, in the meanwhile, if you're ready on the plea, I can cover it for Meredith.
All right, thank you. Meredith, you could go to breakout room number 3 and Mr. Marino.
Thank you.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 3.
Your Honor, my CPS motion is with Judge McClanahan, and she's usually sticks to her 30-minute slots for each hearing. So I should be able to come back at 4.
All right, and here's the thing to all attorneys. Don't ever say that the paperwork is done and your client has signed it unless you've been in a breakout room with them signing it. So your client's paperwork wasn't done, not because the clerks didn't have it ready. It's because he hadn't signed it.
So I need to say, Your Honor, can I get in the breakout room with Lupe? That's what I need to say, because my paperwork's been signed.
Yeah, you need to make sure your client has signed it because your client hadn't signed it. That's why I hadn't received it. But you can go to your hearing and come back at 4 p.m.
I failed to request the probation document. I thought that was with the other paperwork.
No.
Also, I wanted to ask you a question. Sometimes you highlight me. Are you highlighting me or somebody else highlighting me?
Whenever you speak, as people know, when you're on Zoom, because we've been doing this for 2 years now, the box lights up because it shows the speaker who's speaking. So when you speak, your box lights up.
Okie dokie. I thought I did it
As it
sometimes
is
I
now.
wasn't talking. Okay, I must be back, Judge. Thank you.
Mhm.
Judge, if I may, along the same lines, I need to double check and make sure that Mr. Vela, Victor Vela, has signed the documents.
All right, I'll send you to a breakout room with your client.
Thank you, Judge.
I'll send you to breakout room number 4.
All right.
And on Zuniga, is that a motion to revoke or is that something else?
On Beverly Zuniga, Your Honor?
Yes.
It is a trial case that is pleading. We have an agreement for community supervision.
All right. And has your client signed all the paperwork?
She has, I have gone through courts admonishments, while we screen shared, and she signed courts admonishments and the state's exhibit number 1. We went through the video conferencing consent, as well as the trial court certification and her application for community supervision.
Oh, I appreciate that. But this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to send you all to breakout room number 1. And let's just make sure that the clerks have all of that.
Perfect, Judge. Thank you.
Thank you. And Raphael Luel, I sent you to breakout room number 4.
Yes, Your Honor. And I already talked to my client, and I had talked with him before earlier today, and he's telling me that he signed the documents, the plea
All right.
documents.
I'm going to send you to breakout room number 1 and your client to breakout room number 1.
All right.
And the clerk will let you know if they have your paperwork.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. And Mr. Acevedo, I appreciate your patience. We're just trying to make sure that that witness actually comes on the Zoom. Suzanne Kramer.
Yes, Judge. After all this, all day today, it doesn't look like I'm going to be able to get Mr. Sanchez pled.
That's okay.
So, and I've spoken to Ryan about what's going on, so he understands. So I guess, you know, a date.
Just 1 second. I need to have I'm trying to get Mr. Sanchez to come back to the main room.
Thank you.
Is Mr. Sanchez an indicted case, Ms.
He
Kramer?
is, Judge. He is.
That's for Gilbert Sanchez. Okay. Maybe it's under Gilbert.
I've got his cause number here,
I don't
Judge.
have Jesse
His cause
Gilbert
number.
Sanchez. Yeah, it's not here. All right, we're gonna have the clerks grab it because I don't have it. Just give me a
Okay.
moment.
Thank you.
And then
Hey, Your Honor.
Mr. Bellevue on Harris.
Yes, Judge, I need to be placed in a breakout room with him so we can go over the paperwork.
All right. I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 4.
Your Honor, I needed to speak to you.
Just give me one
She's
moment.
going to talk to us when she gets your file. And let me do
Oh.
the talking first because we're just asking for a reset pursuant to your conversation and mine.
Oh, okay. I was just gonna.
Okay,
Well, just
Jesse,
wait.
really, you need to not be talking right now because the judge hasn't called your case yet.
All right, where is Mr. Harris?
I'm right here.
All right, let
Can you
me
hear
just
me?
try to find you, Mr. Harris, because you're listed separately from the screen. So just give me a moment, okay?
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. There you are. I've sent you to breakout room number 4, Mr. Harris.
Okay, I see it now. I'm going to it now. Thank you.
Thank you. And then Megan Enriquez on Balboa.
Yes, Judge, I see that Mr. Villarreal is logged back in. So I'm just waiting for paperwork from him, but I will need paperwork from the court too. We can get started on the court paperwork.
All right, if you put that in the chat box to Ms. Ferguson, what you need on that, okay?
And Megan, can you please put in the chat your email address?
Yes.
Thank you.
All right, and on Mr. Sanchez, Ms. Kramer, how much time are you requesting? Are you requesting a regular reset?
Yes, Judge. We just need Mr. Groomer to speak to a witness that might resolve this case more favorably to Mr. Sanchez.
Okay. Mr. Groomer, is 30 days enough time for you?
Yes, Judge.
All right. And of course, Ms. Kramer, if you all can do it before then and you want to do that before then, just let the court know. We'll put it on the docket.
Yes, I will. Thank you, Judge.
Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 30-day reset for Jesse Sanchez, please?
I've got that date, Judge, May 17th.
Yes, May 17th.
All right, then, may we be excused?
Are you excused? Mr. Sanchez, did you have any questions?
Yes, ma'am. Jesse, I don't want you talking to the judge at the specifics about your case.
Oh, okay.
Thank you.
All right, Mr. Sanchez, if you're going to speak to me about specifics about your case, it's probably best that you speak to your attorney beforehand. You're coming back on May 17th. If your attorney wishes to bring you back sooner than that, she can always bring you back sooner. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you, Mr. Sanchez.
Thank you, Judge. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. Number 16D, Sanchez can go back. And Michael Villarreal, do you know if we have the information on Mr. Acevedo on Rocha?
Judge, I think the victim is available. Yes, if you can just give me a second to have Marina have her log on.
All right, thank you. Yes. All right, while she's logging in, Ms. Chacon, I have the paperwork on Zuniga if you're ready to proceed on Zuniga.
I am, and I did speak to my other client. He understood, so we would like 2 weeks, and I'll meet with him on Tuesday, and we'll have it all ready to go next time.
All right, and your other, who was your other client?
Christopher Letty Moreno.
All right, Ms. Ferguson, on Moreno, can I have a 2-week reset, please? All right, we'll come back on May 2nd. All right, the court is going to call 2022 CR 2568, State of Texas versus Beverly Zuniga. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Meredith Chacon for the defendant, Your Honor.
All right. And are you Ms. Zuniga?
Yes, Your Honor.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor, no objection.
Ms. Zuniga, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Zuniga, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
No, Your Honor. State's proceeding on count 2 and waiving of any count 1.
Any objection?
No objection, Your Honor.
Ms. Zuniga, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendants, Court of Admonitions and Defendants, Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand in count 2, you're charged with assault family second offense? That's a 3rd-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court doesn't follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
You understand you have a right to jury trial, a right to your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Do you understand by entering this plea, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor, we've been able to confer, and I do believe she's confident to proceed today.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her? Do
Yes, I do, Your Honor.
you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Zuniga, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you into this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you into this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived her right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney and did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, your punishment is to be assessed at 5 years in prison. There's a $1,500 fine. There's no application for deferred adjudication. The state recommends community supervision. There's an affirmative finding of family violence, the BIPP course, and $100 to an approved family violence center. Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that to be the entirety of your plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
State is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled Waiver of Appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 5 years. There be a TAP evaluation and no contact with Paul Pina, P-I-N-A. Did you understand that those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, state offer State's Exhibit number 1 and its attachments.
Any objections?
No objections, Your Honor.
Hello, hello, Doug.
I'm sorry.
No problem.
Just
All
a
right. Ms. Zuniga, I'm going to show you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing State's Exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find that there's sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court will find you guilty of assault family second offense. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
We would waive PSI, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
Your Honor, I think that she's a good candidate for probation. I think she has, there were things we could contest in this case, but she was willing to take responsibility for some of what happened. And I think that's important. And it shows that she is ready to do what she needs to rehabilitate herself.
Right,
we would
so,
have to follow the probation recommendations of the state.
All right, Ms. Zuniga, do you and Mr. Pena have any children?
No, ma'am.
All right, so this is what you have to understand then. Your relationship with Mr. Pena is over. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. When is the last time you worked?
I have a job right now.
And what do you do?
Clean houses.
Okay. Do you have any children?
Yes, ma'am.
What are their ages?
15, 18, and 22.
All right, where are they? Where's the 15 and the 18-year-old?
The 15-year-old lives with my aunt, and the 18-year-old has his own place.
All right, so why is the 15-year-old living with the aunt?
I lost custody of her back when she was younger, and my aunt has full custody of her.
Okay. All right, the court will sentence you to 5 years in the prison, suspended and probated for 5 years, $1,500 fine, probated. Affirmative finding of family violence, the BIPP course, $100 to a family violence center, $150 community service restitution hours. The court will deduct 40 of those hours if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. The court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do and you have it, and you present documentation of that to probate, then the court will deduct 40 of those hours. There's to be no contact with Paul Pena. Employment proof within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. There's to be regular UAs, field visits, 1 time per month, regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if you're not able to report by Zoom, you'll have to do it in person. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Reyes, is there anything else that she needs?
No, ma'am.
All right, Ms. Zuniga, is there anything else that you need from the court in order to be successful?
Was I gonna be able to do the PSI out there?
No, I'm giving you. I've just given you your conditions.
Okay.
Probation will go over those conditions with you. All right, is there anything else that you need from the court in order to be successful? Ms. Zuniga, do you need any other conditions or anything else from this court in order to be successful on this probation?
No, ma'am.
Showing you what's entitled trial court certification of the rights to appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waived your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Because this is a felony conviction, and also because there's an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand? All right, good luck to you, Ms. Zuniga. Ms. Zuniga, I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Probation will go over conditions with you. And yes, and just remember, before you get into a relationship, work on yourself.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Thank you.
You're welcome. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. Mr. Cohn, you can go to number 2 or either you can be excused.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome. All right, Michael Villarreal is the complainant for Mr. Acevedo here.
1 second, Judge. I'm sorry. I've been doing paperwork.
Oh, no. I think it's Jessica Harding. Is it Jessica Harding?
Yes, it is, Judge. She's on.
There you go.
Right.
Melina would have the answer.
No, I understand it's been a very, very busy day, but now everyone knows they can multitask. That's the benefit of having a busy day. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 0887. I'm sorry, I haven't done it yet. Just give me a moment. Sure. All right, thank you. 2022 CR 0887, State of Texas versus Alejandro Rocha. Could I have parties announced for the record for the state,
Michael Villarreal for the state.
for the defense? And are you Mr. Rocha?
Yes.
All right, we're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
No objection from the state, Your Honor.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Rocha, do you have any objection?
No.
All right, defense has filed a motion asking for a bond to be set. My understanding is that defense and state have reached an agreement. Is that correct?
Correct.
That's correct, Your Honor.
All right, and what bond amount have you all agreed upon?
I believe it was 30,000, Your Honor.
That's correct, Your Honor.
I'm sorry, how much?
30,000.
All right, and with regards to any contact orders with the complainant,
No
is
contact.
there an agreement on that or no?
No
There'll be no contact, Your Honor.
So there is no contact?
Correct.
My understanding is that the whole issue about this case was contact.
Texting, communicating by social media.
All right, so my understanding is that with regards to the bond issue, the issue was not necessarily the bond. The issue was whether or not there could be contact. Am I wrong in that?
The court just wanted to make sure she was aware. He wanted to hear from her, was my understanding.
All right, Ms. Harding, can you unmute for me, please?
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Harding, there's been an agreement that's been reached to set the defendant's bond at $30,000. And I always want complainants in cases to know when bonds are set after a bond has been, after a person has been remanded without bond by me. So I want you to be aware that his bond is being set at $30,000, which means he may be released from custody. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. But there is still going to be a no contact order in place with you. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. And is there a request for GPS or no?
1 second, Your Honor. I'm sorry.
No problem.
So you got 2 in here, 1, 2.
Your Honor, he already has full house arrest as a condition of his misdemeanor bond. And so if the court would like to reflect the same level of conditions of probation on this case, it might be beneficial so that there is no complication or misunderstanding of what the bond conditions are on all of his cases.
Judge, we were going to be requesting if the court imposed.
All right. So I'm sorry, Mr. Acevedo, I can't hear you.
I'm sorry, I'm sitting in your courtroom. We were going to be requesting tracking only with no contact with her. In the alternative, if the court is going to impose GPS, if it would be permitted to work. I still need to approach the misdemeanor court on the request that I'm asking this court.
All right, Mr. Villarreal, do you have any objection with Mr. Rocha working?
No, we have no objection with him being allowed to work.
All right, so there's going to be no contact with Jessica Harding, Harding. Your bond is going to be set at $30,000. There's going to be partial GPS And that partial GPS, Mr. Rocha, is for work only. You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So if you do something other than go to work while on GPS, I'm going to be informed about it. Pretrial Services is going to issue a violation report. And you will probably, well, I won't say probably. I always keep an open mind, but you're going to subject yourself to potentially being placed back at the Bexar County Jail. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'll waive GPS fees. Is there anything else, Mr. Acevedo?
Oh, Your Honor.
Ms. Ferguson, do we have a date set for this case on Mr. Rocha?
The court did.
1 second.
And on this case, Mr. Acevedo, have you received an offer from the state?
We have, Your Honor, and the court extended a deadline for a plea bargain, given you with evidence and material for me to review.
All right, just give me a moment. All right, Ms. Ferguson, I need a 30-day reset on this case. Because just 1 moment before you put that in the box. I'm reading the docketing statement, Mr. Acevedo. My understanding is your client rejecting the plea offer?
Oh, Your Honor, we had requested a reset given the new allegation, and the court was extending.
All right, Ms. Ferguson. Thank you. Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Rocha's case, can I have a 3-week reset date, please? All right, May 9th is going to be your plea deadline date. Mr. Acevedo, the court will not extend it any further. Mr. Rocha, if you decide not to accept the plea offer that's been extended on May 9th, what will happen is you'll be set for jury trial. Do you understand?
I understand.
All right, thank you.
welcome.
Mr. Acevedo, you're excused. Ms. Harding, thank you for coming in.
Your Honor, this is Luis Mora speaking. My attorney just got up and left to go talk to you or something, and I don't know what to do no more. I already signed the papers.
Just remain on the Zoom screen.
I know.
Your attorney is coming back. Remain on the Zoom screen.
He said he wasn't. He said he had a
No, he's coming back.
trial
He
or
is
something
coming.
like that.
Mr. Moore,
okay.
I'm telling you,
Okay.
he's coming back.
Yes,
Remain on
ma'am.
the Zoom screen.
Oh, no, I hear you. I'm sorry. The connection is, I live out in the country, so it's kind of,
All right. Mr. Cantrell, has your paperwork been completed?
Judge, I just got a something from the court on the appeal, so I'm sending that right now. So
All right,
we'll come
Mr.
back to it.
Barron's.
Thank you.
McGuire.
Yes, Judge, I just need to get in a breakout room with her so I can go over the paperwork. I've done my side of it.
All right, thank you. All right, if you'll go back to breakout room number 4, your client is waiting for you in 4.
All right, am I already assigned there?
Yes.
Okay, different screen though. Oh my goodness.
Teresa Conley, just give us a moment. We will get to you, I promise.
Okay, thank you.
And Judge, on Miss Connolly's case, Norma was going to send me a copy of the motion because we don't have a copy and it's not in the clerk system.
Okay.
I think Ms. Roper has signed her last document there.
Okay, well, they're gonna need to sign her, swear her in.
She's standing in the courtroom, so I'm sure she's ready to be done.
Everybody, put some patience in your pocket. They're going, as soon as the clerk has the paperwork, they will swear her in and they will give me the paperwork.
Understood, Judge. Happy Easter.
Oh, happy Easter. Ryan,
Yes,
do you
Judge.
know if Miss Kramer finished the plea paperwork on Jesus Garza?
I think that's the one he backed out.
Okay.
That was
Um,
on Sanchez.
Yes, no, it's not on Jesus Garza. Miss Ferguson, can you have Miss Kramer zoom back in, please?
Judge, I think that was her other client. I think that one got reset because that's the one that I think maybe he might be under federal charges and they're waiting for him to go get picked up.
Oh, no one ever told the court that. She said.
Oh, okay, I think she was supposed to bring it up, but maybe that.
Yeah, she informed the court that that case was working out.
I don't think so. I mean, it's not working out on my end. I'm pretty sure she's, I think she had two of them with similar names, and I think it was the other one that we hoped was going to work out and it backed out.
All right, so do we know if Mr. Jesus Garza is in federal custody or not? Because
He's not. So my understanding is, I think he might have been indicted, federally indicted, and they're waiting for them to come pick him up, is the last Marcus had heard. I was going to follow up with the AUSA. I called him and left a voicemail, but haven't heard back. That was around lunchtime.
So is our client in jail or not in jail?
He's in jail, here in jail, Bexar County Jail.
Okay, because it doesn't show up on the system that he's jail.
I think he is. Well, no, I see something released from jail a couple days. I don't know. Maybe they came and picked him up. I see something April 5th. That it says released from jail on April 5th, unless he made bond on that day. I think it's more likely though, because he doesn't even have a bond. So maybe he just got picked up finally.
Okay. We will find out. Okay. All right, they're going out to swear your client in, Mr. Cantrell. Suzanne Kramer on your client, Mr. Garza.
Yes, I've been dealing with Marcus on that, but he's apparently at a CLE today. So I've been talking with Ryan, but just to remind the court, back about 3 settings ago, Mr. Garza was still on bond. And he failed to appear. So he did get arrested on that warrant, and other authorities were talking about wanting to speak with him, but that has not happened yet.
All right, so where is he housed at this particular time?
He's still in the jail, our jail.
No, it doesn't show him in the Bexar County Jail, according to Mr. Burmer.
Well, then if he's not, then he just recently got picked up by those same authorities that I was mentioning.
Does anyone know if he's actually in custody somewhere?
I think something happened, Judge, because I show, and this, I didn't know this earlier, Suzanne, it's just Judge brought it up and I never saw him on the screen today, but I show that he doesn't have bonds on any of his cases, but it says he was released from jail on April 5th. So I have a feeling maybe that means released from jail, like they came and picked him up.
That's
exactly. I don't think he had a bond that he was able to make at that time. So I can't imagine he bonded out. It just says released from jail.
He was remanded as far as I knew. So if it says released from jail, it's because they got him. I mean, I can't verify that for you, Judge, but that's, I mean, I know he was remanded.
All right. So Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Jesus Garza, can we recall this in 3 weeks? We're going to try to figure out where he is located. All right, we're going to come back on May 9th.
Okay, thank you, Judge. Sorry, I forgot about him.
Oh, no problem.
May 9th, you said, Judge?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you so much. May I be excused?
Yes, you may excuse.
Judge, I looked it up in the system and it shows that he was transferred.
Okay.
Oh, look at Michael. Okay, so we don't need that date. So transfer to federal custody?
USMS, which I'm assuming not
Yes.
Marshal Service.
That's exactly correct.
All right, then Ms. Ferguson, on Mr. Garza, let's recall this in 45 days and we can see where he's at. And of course, Ms. Kramer, if you want him here sooner than that, just let the court know.
Judge, what I was kind of hoping to do, and I'll try to get a hold of if they'll call me back, the AUSAs on this, is if they're going to have him over there for a while, I wouldn't mind doing a plea in absentia so that while he's in federal custody, he can start his state time. If we bring him back and we plead him, he has to finish up all his state time before he can start on his federal time.
All right, let's just see where we are.
Okay.
All right, and if you want to bring it back sooner than 45 days, just let the court know. So we're going to come back on June 6th.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Judge. Now,
Thank
ma'am,
you.
excuse.
Yes.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye, Tony.
You can ask the court to, well, you just left.
What were you going to say?
I was going to say that since if the computer shows he's not getting jail credit, if you issue a warrant, then he'll start getting the credit.
Oh,
yeah. Just so they keep straight the jail time instead of trying to calculate it later on.
All right. So who are the parties on Jacob Harris?
I was working with Brittany Sparks.
I think it might be me, Judge.
All right, the court is calling 2021 CR 5266, State of Texas versus Jacob Harris. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Michael Belleville for Mr. Harris.
And are you Mr. Harris?
I'm pretty good. How are yourself?
Oh, I'm doing fine, but are you Mr. Harris?
Yes.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objections from the state?
None from the state.
Any objection from the defense?
No.
Mr. Harris, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you did you swear the person in the courtroom? Here. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled application for deferred adjudication or community supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Harris, I'm showing you what's entitled true bill of indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, we do.
State, it appears you're proceeding on the indictment as presented. Is that correct? State?
Yes, Judge. We're
Okay.
proceeding as filed. Sorry, Judge.
No problem. Mr. Harris, I'm showing you what's entitled court admonishment, defendant's waivers and affidavit of admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of evading arrest with a vehicle? That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes.
Did you understand, Mr. Bellow, has your client been able to assist you with any possible defenses in this case?
Yes.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
I believe he does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes.
Mr. Harris, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you were represented?
Yes.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, your fine is to be set at $1,000. State recommends deferred adjudication. They will take in consideration 2021 CR 5267. There's to be restitution, if any. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, it is.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you out the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargaining agreement. The state is requesting that your community supervision be for a term of 2 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours of community service restitution, no contact with Adam, Compost, and Cats 1 and 2. Did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the plea.
Yes, Judge. State would offer State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any objections? Mr. Harris, I'm showing you what's entitled wavering consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Yes.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes.
Did you intend it? I'm so sorry, Brenna. It's been a long day. Did you understand by giving up those rights that the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to waived and consented and stipulated to testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence states exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. Reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
My client believes he'll be successful on probation. He's just asking to follow the plea bargain.
Mr. Harris, anything you wish to say?
Just thank you guys for all your time, give me a second chance, give me a chance.
Why would you get into a car that did not belong to you? Here's this person who is a pizza delivery driver. No one really wants to be driving around delivering pizzas. People can say what they want, but guess what? They don't want to do it. Now, some people are doing it. They're like, well, this is a second job, or well, my plans are to end up owning a pizza delivery place, but nobody wants to do that. So here this poor person is struggling, delivering pizza. And they have those time limits on the pizza. Otherwise, they probably don't get paid. And you steal his car. And then you crash it.
Yeah. I'm just sorry for my mistakes.
No, it's not a mistake. It's a choice. You didn't mistakenly get in that car thinking it was yours. You knew it wasn't yours. You got into it and you end up crashing it. And all these people who are delivering pizzas, each time they do that, they put their life in their hands because there are silly people out there who are making bad choices and want easy money, who will rob the pizza person or take their car by force. So when is the last time you actually had a job other than stealing cars?
I was recently working before I got locked up.
Doing what other than stealing cars?
I don't steal cars. I'm sorry, but
You stole this car.
I'm sorry. I was working for McDonald's and I had like some service jobs I was working. Then I was gonna start at the Travel Lodge with my brother. He's like a manager for a hotel.
So he's living right and you're out here doing wrong. Who is Quinyana Sanders?
That is my lady, my lady, soon to be wife. We have 3 kids.
You have 3 children, kids or baby goats?
I have a 10-month-old boy and I have a 2-year-old daughter and I have one on the way.
Mm-hmm. And you all are out there stealing vehicles.
Kind of changed my life around, you know what I mean? I haven't been getting in no trouble. I just been working.
No, because you're at the Bexar County Jail. How can you get? Well, I mean, you could get in trouble at the Bexar County Jail, but
no,
you're at the jail.
Yeah, I know. My name just happened to get ran. You know, it wasn't nothing like I didn't catch like another case or anything like that. It was just basically like on some humbug. You know what I mean?
Do you
Wrong
want
place,
a
wrong
cookie
time.
and a donut because you haven't caught any other cases? I haven't caught a case. Michael Bellevue, have you caught any cases?
No, ma'am.
Brian Groomer, have you caught any cases?
No, ma'am.
I don't believe Brenna's caught any cases either. So please do not come to me saying, I haven't caught any cases, I don't belong to a gang, and I don't do drugs. Because none of us do. But what you did was you got into a vehicle of somebody who's struggling to make it, because we know no one wants to be driving around at night delivering pizzas, and you took their car. That's where we are. And it seems to me that the only thing that you're doing is having a lot of children with this Quinyana Sanders, who was a part of this foolishness. You are going to get a full-time job. If I could tell you and stop you from continuing to procreate without being able to support your children, I would, but I don't have jurisdiction for that. This is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine, that'll be probated, 2 years deferred adjudication, take in consideration 2021 CR 5267, restitution, if any, $150 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court not requiring you to do that, but if you do it, 40 of those hours will be waived. There's to be no contact with Adam Compost. And if I could stop you from eating pizza, even being around pizza, I would. Cats 1 and 2, that's an anti-theft course. Here's my anti-theft course. Don't take what doesn't belong to you. They're going to give you something more detailed. And proof of employment within 15 days of release. There's to be no employment as a home healthcare or with minors. And I'm requiring that you be employed full time. So that means it's at least 8 hours a day. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to want parenting classes. If you complete the parenting classes, which you must, the remainder of your community service hours will be waived. Rebecca, I'm sorry, but I'm going to have random field visits 3 times a month to make sure that things are going well with these children. There's going to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if you can't report by Zoom, you need to do it in person. There's to be regular UAs. Rebecca, is there anything else he needs?
No, ma'am.
Mr. Harris, is there anything else that you need from this court so that you can be an upright citizen and be someone that your children will be proud to call father?
Oh man, I'm done with the courts. No disrespect, but
no, you're not done because you're on paper now for this community service. See how I use slang? You're on paper. Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
yes, ma'am.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Harris, good luck to you. So many things could have gone wrong with you doing silly things. You understand?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
You're welcome. Mr. Bellevue, you're excused.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay. All right. Mr. Harris, you're going to remain on. Mr. Cantrell, you have Ms. Roper.
I do, Judge, and we're ready to proceed, but your comments just made me think about that Harris County Republican judge about 20 years ago who ordered that his client be castrated.
Oh, I would never do that.
Not castrated, so that he could have no longer have children, whatever that would entail.
Sterilized. No, I'm not a part of that. All right, the court is calling 2022 CR 2353, State of Texas versus Concia Denise Roper. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Brian Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the
Anthony
defense?
Cantrell for the defendant.
And are you Ms. Roper?
Yes, ma'am.
We're proceeding by video because of the pandemic. The defendant, however, is in the courtroom. Any objection, state or defense?
No, Your Honor. No, Your Honor.
Roper, I'm showing you what's entitled defendant's consent to appear by video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Leal, you also have a client, Mr. Omar Kalunga. I think he wants to speak with you. While I'm doing this plea, I'll let him speak with you. I'll send you to breakout room number 2. All right, Ms. Roper, I'm going to show you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review that discovery with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. Roper, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Judge, I believe so. The only thing I saw is I didn't know, I know there's a repeat enhancer and a repeat enhancement allegation. I don't know.
That's being waived.
Okay, then we are proceeding on the indictment part, but we would waive the repeater enhancement.
Any objections to the state's waivers?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Roper, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand what you're charged with is aggravated assault with a deadly weapon? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Roper, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
According to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,500 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication.
Yes.
There's an affirmative finding of family violence. And if the court so finds, there will be an affirmative finding of a deadly weapon. Do you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand with an affirmative finding of family violence, you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent?
Judge, I did not go over that part with her.
All right, do you wish to go over that part with her, Mr. Cantrell?
I know that both parents are have issues right now with because they both have criminal charges. I don't know how that's going to play out in a.
Well, I mean, well, here's the thing, Ms. Roper. I don't have any jurisdiction over civil matters. The only thing I can tell you is what can happen. And what can happen and what is supposed to happen is you're not supposed to be designated as primary custodial parent. Now, something may happen. They may decide that you're the best person for the job. But that's not my purview. My purview here is to let you know that by entering this plea bargain agreement, you're not allowed to own any weapons or ammunition, and also that you're not allowed to be designated as primary custodial parent. Do you understand?
I don't get the last part at all.
All right, I'll send you to a breakout room with
Judge,
your
I tell you what, if we can just reset this matter, because this is going to be a lot more complicated, because I've dealt with this client and it's going to be take a little longer. Can you give me another reset and I'll talk to her family law lawyer about this so that she absolutely understands what's going on, because I know there's going to be some child custody issues. I apologize. I completely forgot about that part of the issue on that.
No problem. Ms. Ferguson, can we recall Ms. Roper back in 2 weeks, please? What date? All right, we're going to come back on May 2nd.
Thank you, Judge. And Ms.
You're welcome.
Ferguson, I'll give you a call. I mean, Ms. Roper, I'll give you a call. I'm sorry.
All right, Ms. Roper, you'll need to get a reset form from the court.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, thank you.
Judge.
You're welcome. And everyone, just give me a moment. All right, we're going to go on Balboa. And then Jorge, I'll take your case up next. Thank you so much for waiting.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Court is calling 2022 CR 0423, State of Texas versus Joseph Balboa. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Megan Enriquez for Joseph Balboa.
And are you Mr. Balboa?
I'm doing good, ma'am. How are you?
I'm doing great. We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
None from the state.
No objection from the defense, Judge.
Mr. Balboa, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video Conference. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Next, I'm showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
Yes, I did, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with the discovery. Mr. Balboa, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Judge, we do.
State, it appears that you're proceeding on count one only. Is that correct?
That's correct, Judge.
Any objections to the waivers?
No objection, Judge.
Mr. Balboa, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendant's Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you're charged with the offense of possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1, 4 to 200 grams? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement you were giving up those rights?
Yes, I do.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
Yes, ma'am. I was trying to get it off my record. That's what I'm really trying to do. So that's why I took the plea, to try to get the probation notification.
All right, here's my question. My question is, did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up the rights that I previously stated to you?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this case?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that the court would grant your application for deferred adjudication if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked or could find you guilty and sentence you up to 20 years in prison? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
Yes, he has, Your Honor.
I believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him.
Yes, I believe he does.
He is currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense.
Yes, I believe he is, Judge.
Mr. Balboa, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, I am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, the state is proceeding on count 1. Punishment is to be assessed at 6 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine. State is silent on your application. The state will take in consideration 2022 CR 0065. Did you understand that to be plea bargain agreement, Mr. Balboa?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Defense is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
State
Your
is at
Honor.
the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Do you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court.
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
I have not, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the plea bargain agreement. The state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 6 years. There'll be a TAP evaluation, 150 hours community service restitution, MIC evaluation, cognitive behavior classes, UAs, and no harmful or injurious contact with Jeremiah Espinoza. Did you understand that those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Then to the offense is charged in count 1. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea.
Yes, Judge. State offer State's Exhibit 1 and all attachments.
Any
No
objection?
objection, Judge.
Mr. Balboa, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
I believe so, ma'am. Yes, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments and review the same. All right, after reviewing states exhibits 1 and attachments, the court will find there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court will defer finding you guilty as you've applied for deferred adjudication. This will be set for sentencing on what date, Ms. Ferguson? All right, we're going to come back on May 27th.
Okay.
Sorry, June 27th. That's what's being shouted for me from the back room.
So June?
June 27th at 9 a.m. and you'll need to be present in the courtroom. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
And I'm going to request, Rebecca, that a TAP evaluation and a MIC evaluation be done. All right, Mr. Harris. All right, Ms. Ferguson, we may need Mr. Harris back, and Mr. Balboa, I'm gonna send you to breakout room number 1 with Rebecca. And Rebecca, you can go to breakout room number 1.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Welcome. And Norma, please let the officer know that we need Mr. Harris back. And then we're going to take up the matter of Mr. Vela. And we'll turn on the interpretation. Yes, we do. No, I don't need this. I need the inmate back.
Okay.
He's not here.
Okay, they got it.
All right, if everyone can make sure they are on the English channel. And to the Jorge, can you make sure that Mr. Vela can hear us? All right, Ms. Ferguson, can you let the deputies know to place Mr. Vela on the Spanish channel, please? And everyone, just give me 1 moment.
Sí, sí lo escucho.
All right, is everything ready for Mr. Vela? Is he able to hear?
I don't need to do anything true about the mail you sent me. Just zoom in on.
All right, court is calling 2020 CR 10735, State of Texas versus Victor Vela. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense? For the defense, could you unmute?
Rafael Leal for Victor Manuel Vela, we're ready.
All right, and are you Mr. Vela?
Sí.
We're proceeding with an interpreter. Could I have the interpreter raise his hand, please? Do you solemnly swear or affirm you will faithfully translate from English into Spanish and from Spanish into English, so help you God? All right, if you can lower your hand and state your name for the record, please. Mr. Leal, were you able to communicate with your client in Spanish?
Yes, Your Honor.
And were you able to explain all of the documents to your client in Spanish?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Vela, all of the documents I'm going to discuss with you are in English. Were they translated for you?
Sí.
All right, we're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state?
And for the state.
Any objection from the defense?
No, Your Honor. No
Mr.
objection.
Vela, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Sí.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Mr. Leal, have you received all the discovery in this case and did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Vela, did you review a document with your attorney entitled True Bill of Indictment and did you understand it?
Sí.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
I do, Your Honor.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Vela, did you review a document with your attorney entitled Court's Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions?
Sí.
Did you assign it in all the appropriate places?
Sí.
Did you understand you're charged with sexual assault of a child? That's a second-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 20 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine.
Sí.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Sí.
Do you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call in the right to remain silent?
Sí.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Sí.
Did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case? Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
He has, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
He does.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I believe he is and he was.
Mr. Vela, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No,
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
no,
You're satisfied with the way you've been represented? Are you a U.S. citizen?
no,
Did you, Mr. Leal, did you advise your client of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law?
I have, Your Honor.
Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, or the denial of naturalization?
I have, Your Honor.
Do you believe your client understands the consequences, the immigration consequences of entering a plea to this charge?
He fully understands the immigration consequences.
Mr.
of the
Vela,
plea.
Mr. Vela, did your counsel, thank you. Mr. Vela, did your counsel advise you of the consequences of pleading no contest or guilty in the application of federal immigration law? Did that advice include possible consequences such as deportation, exclusion from admission to the United States, and the denial of naturalization? And do you understand the consequences of entering a plea to this cause as it relates to immigration? Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it? According to the plea bargain agreement, punishment is to be assessed at 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, and there's Chapter 62 registration. Did you understand? Defense, did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
That was my understanding, Judge.
State, is that the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you sign the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal, Mr. Vela? Did you understand it? Did you review it with your counsel? Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand? Counsel, are there any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Then Mr. Vela, to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest? How do you plead?
Culpable.
State any evidence to support the defendant's guilty plea.
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, State offers State's Exhibit Number 1 and its attachments.
Any
No
objections?
objection. No objection.
Mr. Vela, did you review the document entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations with your attorney? And did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Sí, sí, entendí.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Sí.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Sí.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. After reviewing the same, the court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty, and the court is finding you guilty. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, the court will follow your agreement, sentence you to 4 years in the prison. There's a $1,500 fine, time and money to rank concurrent. There's Chapter 62 registration. Is there anything else from either side?
Nothing further from the State, Your Honor.
Nothing from the defense, Your Honor.
Did you review a document entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal with your attorney? Did you understand it and did you sign it?
Two.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Two.
And because this is a felony conviction, you're not allowed to own or possess any weapons or ammunition. Do you understand?
Two.
If you have a question over what a weapon or ammunition is, you'll need to speak to an attorney. Do you understand?
Two.
All right, with that, we'll close the record. Good luck to you, Mr. Vela. Norma Vela, L10 can go back.
Your Honor, I have an additional case on Mark Colunga.
Right. Thank you, Mr. Valle. All right, what is happening with Mr. Colunga?
Your Honor, I have received the discovery, reviewed the discovery, and received an offer as well, communicated that to my client, and my client has rejected that offer, and I was intending to, upon that rejection, the only other choice would be to set it for trial. However, I believe my client no longer wants me to represent him, so he's there, he's in jail. And I also have an ex parte motion that I had filed on his behalf. And I also emailed Ms. Ferguson. So
Right, are you appointed to represent Mr. Colunga?
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Colunga, can you forward an attorney?
Well, I'm going to try to, man, but if I could get
All
one
right,
appointed.
Ms. Ferguson, can you recall Mr. Colunga back in 2 weeks? You'll need to have an attorney present. And Mr. Leal, if the court has received an ex parte motion from you, the court has already signed it. Ms. Ferguson, can I have a 2-week reset date in the chat box, please?
Ma'am, Judge.
Yes.
I said I'm gonna try to get one, but if I could have one appointed for the meanwhile.
This is your court appointed attorney. Ms. Ferg, you're coming back on May 2nd at 9 a.m. Norma Colunga 17A can go back. Thank you, Mr. Leal.
Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, who is on Maura?
I am, Your Honor, Doug Kampmeyer. Good afternoon.
And then we're going to take up McGuire, and then Ms. Conley. My understanding is that your case should be short, so just give me a moment. Who's the prosecutor on Maura?
It might be me. I'm not sure, Judge. I can be the prosecutor.
All right. And then is McGuire in custody or on bond?
I think she's in custody. She's right there on the screen, 187th McGuire.
Okay. All right. Court is calling 2022 CR 2485, State of Texas versus Luis. Maura, can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Groomer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Douglas Kampmeyer.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
None from the state.
No, Your Honor.
Why, do you have any objections to us proceeding by video? I'm sorry, not McGuire, Mr. Maura, do you have any objections to us proceeding by video?
Not at all, ma'am. I'm sorry. Not at all.
That's okay. The court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Did you review this document entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have you received all the discovery in this case, and did you review it with your client?
I do believe I have, Your Honor, yes.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Mr. Maura, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
Yes, Your Honor.
State, it appears you're proceeding on the indictment as presented.
That's correct, Judge.
Mr. Maura, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments and Defendants Waivers and Affidavit of Admonitions. Thank you. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it
Yes,
in all
ma'am.
the appropriate places?
Yes,
Did you understand what you're charged with? Possession of a controlled substance, penalty group 1 gram to 4 grams. That's a third-degree felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from 2 to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call and the right to remain silent?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you understand by entering this plea bargain agreement, you were giving up those rights?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea bargain agreement in this case?
I think, yes, if me signing over, pleading guilty, then yes, ma'am.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, not grant you community supervision, and sentence you up to 10 years in prison and up to a $10,000 fine? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
You were able to discuss the case, yes, Your Honor.
Do you believe he has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against him?
Wish you wouldn't ask that, but you could.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you believe he's currently competent and was
wouldn't be
legally sane at the time of the offense?
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Maura, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, ma'am.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, ma'am.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived his right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page, did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, I did.
According to the plea bargain agreement, there's to be a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication, $60 restitution to Bexar County for laboratory testing. Did you understand that to be the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
Defense, is that the plea?
Yes, ma'am.
State, is that the plea?
It is, Judge.
Next, I'm showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, ma'am, I did.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Counsel, have there been any such motions?
No, Your Honor.
Next, I'm showing you outside the agreement. State is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 3 years, that there be a TAP evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution, and MIC mouth evaluation. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, ma'am, I did understand that. If I already had gotten the evaluation, do I have to continue doing that? Because I have the documentation and paperwork. from the hospital.
We'll address that issue in just a moment, okay?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So, did you understand those were recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Correct, I do.
Then to the offenses charge, how do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
Guilty.
Off the record. Rebecca, this is Luis Maura. It's 2022 CR 2485. Back on the record. State, do you have any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
State would offer State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any objections?
No, Your Honor.
Mr. Moore, I'm showing you what's entitled waiving consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, I did.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call in the right to remain silent?
Correct, I do understand.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witnesses' statements and police reports, but most importantly, there will be no live testimony? Did you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court will accept into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed that. The court is finding there is sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court is deferring finding of guilt as you've applied for deferred adjudication. Any objections to proceeding with sentencing?
None from defense, Your Honor.
None from State.
All right, Mr. Maura, you wanted to speak to the MIC mouth evaluation. Have you been evaluated for any mental health issues?
Yes, I have. I sure have. I was going through a really hard time when my father had passed away. And I get really emotional and whatnot because he was my mom and my dad, you know. So when it came around, you know, his birthday time, it hit me pretty hard. So when we got pulled over, because my friend's light, it went out, I went ahead and said, you know what, this is about the time I should go ahead and get myself right. So I went ahead and I told the officers there if it was okay to seek help there, and they gave me some help.
Okay.
I
All right.
was in the
Awesome.
hospital for like 2-3 days.
All right. Well, this is the thing, Mr. Maura. With the MIC mouth evaluation, we're just going to do a MIC evaluation, and that's to see whether or not you should be on a specialized caseload for people who can help you with any type of issues you have. When's the last time you saw Adam Rodriguez?
Ooh, it had to be a month, if I should say, so far.
Okay, so you have no problem not seeing him, do you?
No problem.
All right. Is there going to be any gang evaluation I need to have you considered for?
No, ma'am, not my style.
All right. Are you employed?
Yes, ma'am, self-employed.
Doing what?
Trim carpentry, custom homes.
All right, this is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine, probated, 3 years deferred adjudication, $60 restitution to Bexar County Laboratory for testing, MIC evaluation, 120 hours of community service restitution. 40 of those hours will be waived if you provide proof of the COVID vaccination. Court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 hours will be deducted. There should be no contact with Adam Rodriguez, gang evaluation, proof of employment within 15 days, no employment as a home health care provider or with minors. Do you have any children?
Yes, I do, ma'am. That's why I went ahead and turned my life around.
What is the age of your child?
One is 4, or she's about to be 4, and then the other one he's about to be 9.
All right,
And one on the
parenting
way.
classes. You must complete parenting classes. If you complete parenting classes, the remaining of your community service hours will be waived. There's to be regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if for some reason you can't report by Zoom, you'll need to do it in person. Regular UAs, field visits, one time per month. Rebecca, is there anything else that he needs?
No, ma'am.
Is there anything else you need from the court in order to be successful, Mr. Maura?
No, ma'am. I'd just like to ask one question. Why do I have to stay away from my own family? Like,
You're staying away from Adam Rodriguez because you guys were in the car with drugs.
Oh, okay. I see. I understand.
Titled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? And did you electronically sign it?
Yes, I did. Yes, I did.
Because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
All right, Mr. Moore, good luck to you. Remain on the Zoom screen, and probation will go over conditions with you. Court is calling
Thank you, ma'am. Have a wonderful evening.
2021. Court is calling 2021 CR 11806, State of Texas versus Cheyenne McGuire. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Ryan Grimmer for the state of Texas.
For the defense?
Robert Burns.
And are you Cheyenne McGuire?
Yes, ma'am, I am.
We're proceeding by video due to the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
None from the state.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. McGuire, I'm showing you what's entitled Defendant's Consent to Appear by Video. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily consented to appear by video. Showing you what's entitled Application for Deferred Adjudication or Community Supervision. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, I'm showing you the discovery acknowledgement. Have you received all the discovery in this case? Did you review it with your client?
Yes, Your Honor, I believe we have.
Court will find that the state is in compliance with discovery. Ms. McGuire, I'm showing you what's entitled True Bill of Indictment. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, do you waive the reading of the indictment?
We do.
State, are you proceeding on the indictment as presented?
We are, Judge.
Ms. McGuire, I'm showing you what's entitled Court Admonishments. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you're charged with theft, 2,500 to 30,000, That's a state jail felony. The range of punishment is anywhere from anywhere from 180 days up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to $10,000 fine. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have a plea bargain agreement with the state, the court does not have to follow your plea bargain agreement. If for any reason the court does not follow your plea bargain agreement and gives you more than you bargained for, the fact that you entered a plea will not be used against you, and you will be allowed to withdraw your plea. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine and confront any witnesses the state will call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today, did you understand that by entering this plea today, you're giving up those rights?
Yes, Your Honor.
And did you intend to give up those rights and enter into a plea in this cause?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand if the court were to grant your application for deferred adjudication, if for any reason your deferred adjudication were revoked, the court could find you guilty, sentence you up to 2 years in the state jail facility and up to a $10,000 fine?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counsel, has your client been able to provide you with any defenses to this offense?
No, Your Honor.
Do you believe she has a rational as well as a factual understanding of the charges against her?
I do.
Do you believe she's currently competent and was legally sane at the time of the offense?
I do.
Ms. McGuire, has anyone threatened you, coerced you, or placed you in fear to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Has anyone promised you anything other than the plea bargain agreement to get you to enter this plea?
No, Your Honor.
Are you satisfied with the way you've been represented?
Yes, Your Honor.
Are you a U.S. citizen?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find that defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived a right to jury trial. Showing you the plea bargain page. Did you review that page with your attorney? Did you understand it?
Yes, Your Honor.
According to the plea bargain agreement, there's a $1,000 fine. State recommends deferred adjudication. Taking consideration 670,077, 679,899, and restitution, if any, to target. Did you understand that to be the plea bargain agreement?
Yes, Your Honor.
Defense and state is at the plea bargain agreement.
Yes, Judge.
Yes,
Next,
Your
I'm
Honor.
showing you the paragraph entitled waiver of appeal paragraph. Did you review that paragraph with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in both places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand by signing that you're waiving your right to appeal? The only items that can be appealed are written pretrial motions that have been filed, heard, and ruled upon by the court. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Counselor, have there been any such motions?
No, there haven't, Judge.
Outside the agreement, the state is requesting that your deferred adjudication be for a term of 4 years. There'll be no contact with target, 150 hours of community service, restitution, and cap. Did you understand those are recommendations from the state and the court does not have to follow those recommendations?
Yes, Your Honor.
Then to the offense is charged in the indictment. How do you plead? Guilty, not guilty, or no contest?
No contest.
State any evidence to support the defendant's plea?
Yes, Judge. State offers State's Exhibit number 1 and all attachments.
Any
There's no
adjustments?
objections.
Ms. McGuire, I'm showing you what's entitled waiver and consent to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it in all the appropriate places?
Yes, Your Honor.
Again, did you understand you have a right to jury trial, a right for you or your attorney to cross-examine, to confront any witnesses the state would call, and the right to remain silent?
Yes, Your Honor.
Did you understand that today the state will be presenting evidence in the form of witness statements and police reports? But most importantly, there will be no live testimony. Did you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court will find the defendant has knowingly and voluntarily waived and consented to stipulation of testimony and stipulations. Court is accepting into evidence State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. Court has reviewed State's Exhibits 1 and attachments. The court is finding there sufficient evidence to find you guilty. However, the court is deferred in finding of guilt as you apply for deferred adjudication. Are you proceeding with sentencing?
Yes, please.
Anything you wish to say on behalf of your client?
We just ask that you follow the plea bargain, Judge.
All right, Ms. McGuire, do you have any children?
No, ma'am, I don't.
All right, who is Nicholas Rhodes to you?
He's my husband.
So why are you guys stealing from Target, or as people called it, Target?
We had just hit a really rough patch and chose to be around people that were doing it and just fell into it. But I have no intention of going back, and my husband is already changing and away from them people.
All right, but here's the thing. the people who you're calling them people, if I were to ask them, hey, why are you stealing? You know what they say? We were hanging around the wrong people, this McGuire person, and we just sort of fell into it. I don't know how you end up stealing or trying to steal $4,000 worth of merchandise from Target, but okay. All right, this is what the court is going to do. $1,000 fine probated, 4 years deferred adjudication, taking consideration 670077, 679899, restitution, if any, to Target. You're not to have any contact with Target, so Target is no longer on your shopping place to shop. You understand?
Yes, ma'am, I do.
There is to be 100 hours of community service restitution. Court will waive 40 of those hours. If you provide proof of the COVID vaccination, the court is not requiring you to get the COVID vaccination, but if you do, 40 of those hours will be waived. Regular reporting by Zoom or in person. So if you can't report in person, it needs to be by Zoom. We're going to do the UA hotline. If she ends up being positive, then it'll be intensive outpatient treatment with probation. Field visits, 1 time per month, random. Proof of employment within 15 days of release. No employment as a home health care provider with minors. Rebecca, is there anything else that she needs?
No, ma'am, but to verify, was that 100 community service hours or the 150 community service hours?
100.
Okay, thank you.
Ms. McGuire, is there anything else you need in order to be successful?
No, Your Honor.
Showing you what's entitled Trial Court Certification of Defendant's Rights to Appeal. Did you review that document with your attorney? Did you understand it? Did you electronically sign it?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, because this is a plea bargain agreement, because I followed your plea bargain agreement, and because you waive your right to appeal, you do not have the court's permission to appeal. Do you understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, then, Ms. McGuire, good luck to you. Don't steal anymore. I'm going to send you to breakout room number 2. Mr. Maura, if you'll go to number 2, and probation will go over conditions with you, Ms. McGuire. And I'm trying to see, there you are, 2. Teresa Conley, thank you for patiently waiting. Who is your client?
Giancarlo Armstrong, Your Honor.
Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, and it's a motion for bond reduction, but I sent Michael the papers, but I haven't conferred with him yet.
Okay,
And
you want to confer with him?
How are we going to do it in the courtroom, Your Honor? My phone is dead.
Oh, I can see you right now. And she'll have you confer in the courtroom, breakout room.
Thank you.
All right, if you could go to number 1. And Mr. Villarreal, if you could go to number 1.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Behrens, you can go to number 1 with your client, or either you can, number 2 with your client, or either you can be excused.
Actually, Judge, I'd like to be excused, but I would like to first talk to Mr. Groomer, if I may.
All right, I'll send you to number 3, and Mr. Groomer will meet you in number 3.
Thanks.
Mr. Armstrong, if you want this to be heard, you had better find a place to pull over. Otherwise, this will not be heard. Miss.
Yes, ma'am. Sorry, it's actually my son, Giancarlo. He's in Bexar County. I'm the father.
I don't know what you want me to. You're the father.
Yeah, I'm the father.
If you want to be heard, you need to pull over.
I am pulled over, ma'am.
Thank you. All right, Miss McGinnis and Miss Hunsinger, you're here.
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you so much for letting me slip in on this Zoom, and for Kelly and Norma for helping me with that. I just had filed a motion to allow tracking on Andres Martinez. He's the same client. You've allowed to do that at other holidays and such. He's out on bond, been on, partial house arrest for 3 years, I think now, with a monitor. I probably should have been in sooner to get him off that, but haven't done the in-person thing yet. So it was just for Sunday, Easter Sunday, from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to be with his family at San Pedro Creek Park.
All right.
For an agreement.
So you're in agreement for tracking. I know you're saying that it's Easter Sunday and it's going to be at the park. Did you want to put the park in here, Ms. McGinnis? Or he's just allowed to roam?
No, I thought that that was a specific thing that was in the motion, that it had the,
No,
I
is
think
not.
the order, yeah, I think the order said San Pedro Creek, did it not?
No, it says nothing. It says tracking.
Oh, well, that's strange. Well, that's because I did it, not my assistant. So yes, Your Honor, it's for San Pedro Creek Park or Springs.
What is the address?
Oh, I have no idea. I can look it up real quick.
Okay, so why is it tracking? Why isn't it just he's allowed to attend Easter Sunday?
Well, yeah, that's fine too. I just, the last time we did tracking, so I just did the same thing.
I think last time was Christmas, Judge, and I think it was because he was going to a couple different places he had permission to go to. So maybe that's why, but we agreed for him to go to the park, and I think it's at
Floors.
Cameron Street. Would that sound right? Trace 715 Cameron Street.
Well, I thought it was on Flores. But if it's not tracking, then I guess, does that necessarily?
All right, once you guys get that address and everything, just send it to the court through email and I will attach it to this motion.
Okay, you want me to amend the order to include just that address, or just send her the address and she'll add it?
I mean, if you all want to do it, send it by email. I will write it in your motion.
Okay. I sent the order. Do you have the agreed order in front of you?
Yes, but the agreed order doesn't say what you all are saying now.
Okay, I'll send an address to Norma, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
All right, thank you. Have a good Easter.
All right, thank you. Happy Easter.
Okay, happy
Go
Easter.
paint some, Kelly, go paint some eggs and hide them with your children. They grow
I
so
will.
fast.
I think we're doing it tomorrow.
Okay.
Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Brenda, you know the worst thing about hiding Easter eggs? If you don't find them all. Mr. Greer, who is your attorney? Let me see. Just one moment, I'm going to find out what's happening, Mr. Greer. All right, your attorney is Melissa Christian, Mr. Greer. She came in this morning. So we're going to recall your case. There are discovery issues that she needs to get from the state, all right? So Ms. Fergus, can you recall Mr. Greer in 30 days, please? All right, on that date, Mr. Greer, she will have received an offer from the state and we'll make sure that she has all the discovery so she can represent you, all right?
You work harder when they're Zoom than when regular, don't you?
All right, Norma, Mr. Greer can go back. All right, so Ms. Conley, have you had a chance to speak with the state on Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, I did, Your Honor, and Mr. Villarreal opposes a reduction.
Okay.
He gave me 2 exhibits which were part of the discovery, but I appreciate that it was given to me. I don't know, I can see Mr. Armstrong in the middle of the screen, and I don't see John Carlo. Is that
his father's on
there too? I made this motion a couple.
Well, no. Let's call it on the record. Court is calling 2022 CR 0686 State of Texas versus John Carlos Armstrong. Can I have parties announced for the record for the state?
Michael Villarreal for the state.
For the defense?
Teresa Conley for John Carlo.
And are you Mr. Armstrong? Can you unmute for me?
Yes, Your Honor. I am
We're
Mr.
proceeding
Armstrong.
by Zoom because of the pandemic. Any objection from the state or the defense?
Not for the state.
All right, defense, the court is in receipt of a motion for bond. Does he have a bond already set and you're just seeking a reduction?
It should be a reduction, Your Honor.
All right, Any objection to this proceeding as a motion for bond reduction, State, as opposed to a motion for bond?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Defense, is your motion. You may proceed.
Your Honor, Giancarlo is under indictment for sexually assaulting a child, aggravated sexual assault of a child. He is personally a very diminutive individual. He's been beaten up numerous times at the jail, had his nose broken, his glasses knocked off his face a couple of times. He believes he's in danger, and his father does as well. This particular case involved a hookup on Snapchat. I'm actually using that language, but that's what it was. The girl snuck Giancarlo into a room and ended up getting pregnant. She subsequently had an abortion, and the remains of the child indicated after a DNA analysis that Giancarlo was indeed the father. But it was Snapchat. So that's where we are. Right now, the bail is $85,000, and Mr. Armstrong is anxious to get his son out. Mr. Armstrong is the adoptive father. Giancarlo's birth mother was on drugs, and probably that was the source of what affected Giancarlo's mental condition. There's no problem other than this situation. He doesn't really have a problem with the law. And as I say, Mr. Armstrong is very interested in supervising him. Besides the documents that were sent, apparently I had the wrong email from Mike. He hadn't gotten them, although I did send them while I was waiting. His basic diagnosis at Laurel Ridge 2 years ago was bipolar 1. Subsequently, in the course of the treatment, they referred to a disruptive personality disorder and anxiety. And that's where we are. I'm just asking for a bond reduction that Mr. Armstrong can have him at home and in a safer environment.
All right, State.
Your Honor, the state would offer State's Exhibit number 1, State's Exhibit number 2, which is what the documents Ms. Connolly was referring to. If they're admitted, Ms. Connolly's recitation of the facts are just demonstrated within those exhibits.
All right. Any objections to State's Exhibits 1?
None, Your Honor. No.
State's Exhibits 1 and 2 are admitted. All right. State.
And Your Honor, we're just, we oppose the reduction of the bond. This is a 13-year-old being impregnated by a 19-year-old. There's other ways of protecting this individual's safety within the custody of the Bexar County Jail, whether that be he placed in a different area of the jail, whether he be placed in some type of secured position. And so we believe that the bond amount is appropriate at this time. And so we're asking that the court deny the defense motion.
All right. The court hasn't heard any evidence on what bond amount is being requested. So what's the bond amount?
I think I requested, I believe, 10,000, Your Honor. Your Honor, do you want to hear from Mr. Armstrong? He's waving his hand at me. And
do you want to call Mr. Armstrong?
Yes, I will, Your Honor, if you don't mind.
All right. Mr. Armstrong, can you raise your right hand for me? Do you solemnly swear or affirm the testimony you give will be the truth and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I do.
All right. Ms. Conley, do you have any questions for Mr. Armstrong?
Mr. Armstrong, your son is in the jail right now. He's on screen. What is your understanding about the safety conditions at the main jail?
I do know that he has gotten beat up once, for sure, with the broken nose. He's currently 19 in jail.
How much does he weigh, sir?
I'm guessing about $125 right now. He weighed 185 a few months ago, probably about 4 or 5 months ago. He was about 185, but he's lost a lot of weight. I would like to make a correction on the ADAs. He said Giancarlo was 19 at the time of the incident. Giancarlo is 19 right now. At the time of the incident, it was 17.
How much did he weigh at the time of the incident? Was he 108 then or?
At the time of the incident, let's see, that was when he was 17. He had just graduated high school. He was about probably 175 to 180.
If he came home, what would you do to take care of him and assure that he doesn't leave the house or?
Well, we kind of made a plan already, some cleaning and things to fix up the house, try to renovate some things. He's really good handyman. He's made benches. He went to Construction Careers Academy when he was in high school. So we have stuff around the house to get done. We would probably just have him help with the yard work, do things around the house. I do have counselors already set up to come to the house and do virtual visits with him for counseling if he was released into our custody. We do have 4 other children, his brothers and sisters, and they all miss him terribly. And so we just wanted to be able to have him in our home and be able to have time. I have a 16-year-old daughter, a 11 or 12-year-old son, 11-year-old daughter, and a 7-year-old, 6-year-old. She just turned 6.
Has there ever been an incident or a problem with Giancarlo's interaction with those other children?
Never.
Pass the witness.
State.
So if he's 17 at the time of the offense and 19 now, and the victim is 13, she was 11 at the time of the offense?
No, my understanding, she was 13 at the time of the offense, from what I've been told. And I do know she did say she was 16 to him on Snapchat to get his attention.
Okay, so that makes it okay?
No, I never said it was okay.
Okay. Well, I just wondering what the relevance is at this point. I'll pass the witness.
The relevance.
There's no question, sir. Thank you, Judge.
That would be it, Your Honor. I believe she was 13 based on the records that Mr. Villarreal provided.
Yes, the court has read the State's Exhibits 1 and 2, and the court is notating the age of all parties involved, so the court is aware of that. All right. So State, you're asking that the bond not be reduced?
Correct, Your Honor. We're asking that you deny the motion.
All right. And all right, this is what the court will do. The court is going to set the bond at $40,000.
Thank you, Your Honor.
There should be full GPS. Court will waive the fees. The defendant is to reside with Mr. Justin Armstrong. All right, and here's the other thing. Court firmly believes that when people are placed at the Bexar County Jail or in any facility, they are there either because they can't make bond, or either they're there to pay whatever debt to society that they owed. However, if there are issues with safety at the jail, then that is something that needs to be taken up with the Bexar County Jail. So that's something that either the defense attorney needs to inform the jail of, or either you, Mr. Armstrong, need to inform the jail and ask that you be placed in protective custody. Now, the issue with protective custody, Father Armstrong, is that sometimes people don't like protective custody because what that means is that you're in lockdown maybe 23 hours of the day and they allow you out for an hour to exercise, but you're by yourself. I have no control over that. I'm not in charge with jail security. So, Ms. Conley, if there are issues with his protection at the Bexar County Jail, you need to let the Bexar County Jail know.
I've already reported the sheriff to his own internal affairs because I didn't want to make this a public thing. I mean, this is public because it's a public forum on YouTube, but I didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize the respect for the sheriff's office that I have, and I think other people do. I went directly to his internal affairs to keep it a quiet
And
matter.
then Father Armstrong, if there are issues, you need to call someone. And Mr. Armstrong, if there are issues at the jail, you need to let someone know. And of course, since this has been brought to the court's attention, we will call this jail and let them know that it's been brought to the court's attention that there may be issues with Mr. Armstrong's safety. That will be done today.
Thank you, Your Honor.
And Father Armstrong, just know that this is the first time that this court is hearing that there may be safety issues at the jail. So
Yes, ma'am.
once we know that something has happened, we take it very seriously and we act upon it immediately. And the reason why it has not been acted on by this court is because we're just hearing it.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, if that would close the record.
Thank you, Your Honor.
You're welcome.
Now,
All right, you may be excused. Brenna, it's 5:30. Here's a good thing, even though we're still Zooming and it's 5:30, I like to look on the bright side. And you know what the bright side of it all, Brenna, is?
No traffic.
People have avoided rush hour traffic. So everyone is welcome. To the prosecutors and everyone, to the defense attorneys, I've helped you avoid rush hour traffic. Ryan and Michael, like, no, but that's what I've done. So happy Easter.
I'm at the magistrate anyway, so I'll be here all night.
Thank you, Judge.
Okay.
Excused.
Yes, you may be excused.